It started as an adventure. Ethan, Jason, Olivia, and Emily, four thrill-seeking friends with a growing YouTube horror channel, set out to explore an abandoned ghost town deep in the forests of Oregon. They had found it through an old Reddit thread, a town called Black Hollow, supposedly erased from maps after the entire population vanished in 1953. No one knew why. The last recorded mention of Black Hollow was a newspaper article from 1954. The headline read, "A town that never existed?" The article claimed that government officials denied Black Hollow had ever been there. It was as if it had been wiped from history. Naturally, the group wanted to find it. But when they asked locals for directions, everyone reacted the same way. They went pale. They refused to talk. And then came the warning from an old gas station attendant: if you find Black Hollow, don't say your name. And no matter what, don't stay after dark. The group laughed it off. Just another spooky legend, right? They should have listened. The drive was eerie. The deeper they went into the forest, the thicker the fog became. GPS stopped working and the road signs disappeared. Then suddenly, a wooden sign appeared by the road. The paint was faded, but they could still make out the words, "Welcome to Black Hollow, 1876, Jason grinned. Told you it was real. They stepped out of the car, cameras rolling. The town looked frozen in time. Rusting cars sat abandoned in the streets. Shops still had old 1950s posters in the windows. A gas station sign read, "Last fill up, 12 cents per gallon." But there was no wind, no birds, no movement, just silence. "Okay, this place is officially creepy," Olivia muttered, shivering. They walked through the town square where an old church stood at the center. Its doors were open, swaying slightly as if inviting them inside. That's when Emily noticed the footprints. Fresh footprints in the dust, leading into the church. "Guys, I think someone's here," she whispered. And then, a bell rang from inside the church. The watchers, the sound was deafening in the empty town. The group exchanged uneasy glances. "Did you hear that?" Ethan asked. "It came from inside," Olivia whispered. Jason, always the daring one, stepped forward. Only one way to find out. They entered the church. The air inside was cold and stale. Pews were covered in dust and cobwebs hung from the ceiling. Then, a hushed voice echoed through the space. "You shouldn't have come." They spun around. At the far end of the church, an old woman sat in a pew, her back to them. Emily took a cautious step forward. "Ma'am? Are you all right?" The woman didn't turn. Instead, she tilted her head slightly. "You don't belong here." Jason tried to lighten the mood. "Look, we're just filming for our channel. We're not here to cause trouble." A long pause. Then, "It's too late. They've already seen you." Before they could ask who they were, the woman vanished. She didn't run. She didn't move. She was just gone. And then outside the church they heard it. Footsteps. Many. Surrounding the building. And worse, they were whispering their names. The no-face people. They bolted from the church. Outside, figures stood in the fog. Tall, unmoving. Lining the streets. But as the group got closer, their stomachs turned to ice. The figures had no faces. No eyes. No mouths. Just smooth, pale skin where their features should have been. Then, in unison, the figures tilted their heads. And they spoke. "Ethan. Jason. Olivia. Emily." They screamed. They ran to the car. But the car was gone. Vanished. As if it had never been there. The whispers grew louder. "You're part of Black Hollow now." Emily sobbed, gripping Ethan's arm. "What do we do?" "The gas station guy said not to stay after dark." Olivia gasped. "We have to find a way out, now." The sun was already setting. Trapped in the forgotten town, they ran. Every turn led them back to the town square. It was as if the streets were changing, looping them in a maze. Then they saw it, a single road leading out. Hope surged through them. They sprinted down it, their lungs burning, and suddenly they were standing in front of the church again. The sun was gone. The bell rang again. And the figures moved. Closer. The whispers turned into distorted screams. Jason turned in horror. "There's no way out." Ethan grabbed the camera and did the only thing he could. He live-streamed the footage to their YouTube channel. "If anyone sees this, help us. We're in Black Hollow, please someone." The screen glitched. Then static. Epilogue. The last upload the next morning, police found no trace of the group. Their car was still parked on the side of the road, untouched as if they had never left it. The only thing left behind? A single video. Uploaded automatically to their channel. Titled, "We Found Black Hollow, Don't Watch This Alone." The footage? It showed the group running, screaming, and then suddenly standing still. their faces blank, expressionless, their eyes gone. Then, the video ended. And the last thing heard? A whisper. "Now we know your name too."